Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Fan and the Critic. I almost said Houston, we have a podcast, even though we've changed our name for almost a year now. But doing things a little bit different today. I'm your normal co host, Paulo, and I'm joined by your regular host, Carson. And we have two returning guests from a previous episode, a returning duo, actually, because the last episode we had both Dan and Alex on was our first Asylum themed episode, Asylum Studios themed episode, where we watched a bunch of terrible movies and talked about them. But Dan and Alex are back here again talking about a couple more terrible movies. So I like to thank them for joining us and going through that torture. But essentially, we're talking about Starship Troopers, the entire live action franchise. So Dan, Alex, welcome back. It's good to see you guys. How's it going?
Oh, it's
Going
good to
great.
be here.
That sounded
Yeah.
slightly sarcastic, Dan.
Yeah, it's great. The movies were great.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's get into it. I mean, I think everyone listening is probably very familiar with Starship Troopers. Actually, it's a quick side note. The inspiration for this episode, for me, came because of this game that Dan and I play on PlayStation.
We played once, but
We played
sure.
once, but I mean, we play it in general. It's called Helldivers 2. It's based like very loosely on like Starship Troopers. And I just thought like, hey, this is I've seen all three, and they're all over the place. So let's talk about them. So
And one thing I'd like to add in here is this episode has been 5 or 6 months in the making now. So Paulo originally had this idea months and months ago, and I, of course, thought we were going to make this episode really quick. So I went out and watched these movies. We forgot about it, did some other stuff, came back to it months later, and it was too long ago. So I actually had to watch these movies twice just to be properly prepared for this.
Probably in March, right,
Yeah.
Paulo? Because
Yeah,
Helldivers came out in February.
that was
so-
like the height of its popularity, and I
it was in
will
March.
also apologize to Carson for because I started to second guess myself, especially after like remembering, because I saw 2 and 3 like back in 2010, and I was like, do I really want to watch those again? And then Carson was like, I've already watched them, so we were locked in. All right, well, I'll defer to someone else just to quickly breeze through Starship Troopers 1, because like I said, everyone knows that one. That's the famous one. But Alex, do you want to tee up Starship Troopers 1 for like from your perspective before we get into the real meat of the franchise?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what are we now? 2024, August, and I would have been smack dab in high school, I believe, right? That was just before high school, maybe 1997, when they would have released Starship Troopers. That movie blew me away back then. It blew me away because it had things that I was not expecting to see. It had like a level of gore that didn't quite line up to the sort of like humor that they initially sort of set it up with. So I didn't know whether to laugh. Like, am I going into another, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber? Is this going to be a funny movie, or is it going to be? And then I'm seeing guts being ripped up, and I'm like, whoa, whoa. Oh, my young mind, like smack dab in the middle of puberty, wasn't quite ready for this. Speaking of puberty, they do have some awkward nudity, I think, in all three actually. And that's what gets me about these movies. Like, it's the most awkward, cringe nudity. Like, it's the opposite of romantic. It's cold. It feels like they're in a cold room and people are just stripping or taking a shower. It's very, very odd. But I did like that movie. Initially, I do recall enjoying it. Denise Richards, I think that might have been my first time seeing her. I think Wild Things would have come out after. And yeah, I was just, again, very pretty people shooting bugs, lots of gore, lots of weaponry, and I kind of dug it, when I was 13. Having said that, guys, I'll admit to you, I haven't seen this movie since. So this would have been my first time watching it for this podcast since, back in 1997 or 98.
Wow.
And it holds up. It's not a bad watch.
It does.
And I was,
I agree.
It actually does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just
remember watching. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we did it myself, you, Paulo, and Carson. Were you there when we did Starship Troopers for movie night at
I
work?
wasn't there for that.
Oh, you guys weren't.
This
Are
was
you
before us.
Are you
Yeah.
sure? Oh, I could have sworn you were there, Paulo. Anyway, I
That
flipped out.
plate must have been off the chain though with the kill count.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was so much fun, and I really thought you were there because I remember remember when Rico does like the flip. Well, first he does the flip for
In the football game?
but then he does it again during like basic training. Remember he does the
yeah.
flip, and I remember just be like, "Oh, the flip!" Like just before he does it the second time, and then he freaking does it, and then I could have sworn I did that, and you were sitting there and you just like laughed. But okay, I guess maybe that was someone else. Oh,
It was all in your
you know
head.
what? I know who it was. I think it was Manon. Actually, come to think of it.
Manon
Anyway.
came to Soft Choice after us.
Wait, what? Okay. I don't know then. I think you know who. Anyway,
Dan was just watching it like in his room by himself, just manifesting all these,
you never
these
know.
people.
You never know.
But yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
no,
believe
it was,
I believe
it was
that
good.
happened. Yeah. I mean, and just to add to what Alex was saying, like I'm slightly younger than Alex, and I watched this like around the time that it came out. And so I was like in elementary school, and this is an age where I should not have watched this movie probably. But it's the age where you're like watching the shower scene with your friend and you're like under the blankets, like giggling. But there's like the action was amazing, but then also like everyone knows about the satire nowadays and like how it's just so like cheesy and it's supposed to be that way. That goes right over your head when you're like 10 years old and you're just like,
It went
oh my God,
over-
this is awesome.
It went over almost everyone's head.
So I have a question for you guys there. You guys obviously saw it when it first came out. I didn't see it till much, much later. And when I saw it for the first time, everybody knew it was a satire. Everyone knew that it was misunderstood and maybe improperly hated when it first came out. So yes, I had that background, but going into it, I felt like it was super obvious what type of movie it was. And I was just thinking like when you guys were back there watching it, was it actually everyone hated it? Because watching it, like, I can't understand how someone would watch that and not think that it's a satire.
But apparently nobody did.
But I thought so. So this is a common technique of seeing movies, which is like they build your empathy for a character. Like they'll build before they kill them off in some savage way. So I thought that's what was going on. Like I thought we were supposed to laugh along, and they're being cute and they're being funny and all this, and then when the bugs are ripping them into shreds, or when they get shot in basic training, like when people are getting like that to me, then it had like an even bigger impact. But again, my mind was all over the place. I mean, I had like Kurt Cobain posters behind me in my little room, right, that I'm sharing with my brother. I'm there feeling like, listening to Nirvana, Metallica by myself on lunches. So I have this like, I'm in a very emotional, it's high school, right? Like I think this was grade 9 or 10 for me. So I'm very emotional. I'm kind of like fragile too, right? And I didn't know what to make of this. Like yeah, I think to Paula's point, it went right over my head. Like I thought it was funny and cute, but then like I remember leaving the movie thinking, and I think I saw it in theaters, thinking like, oh my God, this could happen to Earth. Like, like, like if the bugs like advance, like
Not even
good,
like the
right?
fascism, the bugs
Yeah,
like
yeah,
invasion.
Yeah. I think we were too young. Right. Basically to your point, Alex, I think we were too young to sort of think in terms of like, is this satire? You know what I mean? Like, is this like political satire? Because yeah, that was obviously, as you said, Carson, like it was meant to be a satire of, fascism, totalitarianism, militarism, so on. They were accused, like the filmmakers were accused of like promoting fascism and stuff. So yeah, so like nobody understood it really until.
But I don't think the book
Years
was
later.
a satire. I think they were legitimately on that side. Because I read some,
True.
not actual parts of the book, but there's a part where Rico and his parents in the movie, they have this falling out. And obviously
Yeah.
they were pretty like anti him going into the military because I think they had a more
Yeah.
comfortable life. And I think later in the book, he meets up with his dad, and his dad has then joined the military. Like it's saying,
Snap.
Oh,
like, oh, these anti-military
Really?
people, they're wrong.
Well-
like, isn't it the right thing to do to join the military?
Okay, but virtually nobody presumed, like most people who'd seen the movie though at the time it was released had read the book. I mean, that's how it is with anything, right? Like the majority of the audience would not have read the book. So people were seeing it and they thought that it was like somewhat serious, apparently, from what I've heard. Like I've heard it's like the most misunderstood movie of the 90s. It's been called.
I couldn't agree more with that. Like, I mean, watching it a second time, 25 years later, more 28 years later, it's like, it's mind blowing. Like yeah, the satire completely missed me. Like I literally walked away scared. Like it was kind of like, you know, watching something like almost like a Stephen King. No, I'll say more like watching Alien, right? It's like I walked away feeling similar like things, like similar fear, like the Alien movie, right? So yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a sign of really good satire, I think, right? Because no one realized it, and you
subtle,
watch it now.
Very subtle.
I mean, but the thing is, it's not subtle, right? Like you just don't know if
once
they're serious
you know
or not.
about it, you see it all.
You can't
but
miss
I can
it.
see
if
you don't know about it and you were expecting it to be something else, because there wasn't really an equivalent. Well, actually, did RoboCop come out before this? I think it was a few years before, right?
It would have been before. I thought, wasn't RoboCop like a late 80s,
like
or
80s.
early 90s?
Yeah, I think it was like early 90s. But yeah, so like same director, he would have had a little bit of satire.
There's the blood and gore. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also, like, I've heard people say there's the other Paul Verhoeven movie with who is it, Elizabeth Berkley, who like plays a stripper. And there's also people who suggest that movie is also a satire, which no one has understood because everyone just thinks it's like the most terrible movie ever. But that would be I've never actually watched it, but it almost would be interesting to go back and watch it and see, like, hey, is this a satire that people have misunderstood for like 30 years now?
I think it's sorry, I was just gonna make
it?
No, I haven't seen this. Sorry, I wasn't gonna make the stripper movie thing. I'm just thinking more about like a parallel to watching Simpsons now as an adult. So again, Simpsons is something that I would have rushed home to watch as a kid, and you know, half of the jokes were for me, I feel like written for kids, and the other half would have been for adults, like little. At the time, those would have gone over, like sexual innuendos or like certain adult humor, but they had those injected there. But now when I watch, like if I go and rewatch the seasons, by the way, only the first 11 seasons, obviously, of The Simpsons, it's like, you know, like holy, like this got depth, right? And Starship Troopers is not, I don't think, on that level, but of like longevity and imports to our society. But nonetheless, like me watching it as an adult now, like the overtones with the fascism, and now I'm paying attention to. I was talking to the guys earlier before the podcast, like, you know, the mind readers, like Neil Patrick Harris is like like their capes. That's all based on like Nazi SS uniforms, right? And like okay, it's satire, but you're going with a very very like clear imitation of that.
Yeah, in your face.
Uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like it's not being funny like Idiocracy. Like Idiocracy is like, even from the title, you know it's going to be silly and whatever, and it hits you over the head with that, right? So this, I definitely, I never realized how misunderstood this movie was, but like, you know, you guys invited me on the podcast and giving me this assignment to rewatch these three.
Assignment.
Should
you accept
it? Number 2 and 3 felt like an assignment, guys. It felt like
yeah.
Well, okay,
but we'll get to that after.
Yeah, before unless anyone has anything else that they want to say about Starship Troopers, I have one other thing.
I have one more thing too, but you go first.
Okay, mine's really small. I just looked up the novel because I like I said, I'd never heard of it before. I didn't know there was a novel before the movie. It came out. It was published in 1959, and apparently Johnny Rico was actually Juan Rico, and he's Filipino.
Yeah.
That's like
he's in the movies though. His name appears as Juan, but no one calls him that. It's
and
the
it's
character's
based in
name.
Buenos Aires, right? It's in Buenos Aires, like Argentina. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, even in the book, like he's from Buenos Aires, like he's Filipino but living in Argentina.
And he says, "Kill them all."
I didn't know. I didn't know. Wait. I thought he was Argentinian. I didn't know he was Filipino in Argentina.
In the novel, he's for some reason Filipino living in Argentina.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Which I didn't even know people knew about the Philippines in 1959.
They weren't discovered yet. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's super cool. I'm gonna check out that novel now. Once I learn how to read. But yeah, Carson, I think you had something.
The one other thing I was going to say, because Alex, you mentioned it earlier around the super awkward nudity in all of these movies. My interpretation of the nudity in the first one was a little bit more like, and this is a weird comparison, but like Star Trek, where it's a future where no one's weird about the nudity.
Cares?
It's like
Yeah.
it's a way of demonstrating like, hey, men and women can shower in the same room and no one's making a big deal out of it. So yeah, maybe to the audience it's like a weird way to sneak in nudity, but for me it actually was a little bit of world building of like, hey, this is the future, like humanity's evolved a little bit, which is a different than how the nudity came up in 2 and 3, which was much more
Yes,
sleazy.
a bit different. Yeah.
But you know what hasn't evolved yet in this movie in Hollywood is the casting, right? So who they're casting, they're still casting like the prettiest people they can find, right? Like everyone's
Of course.
So am I to assume that in the future everybody's got perfectly toned bodies, like not a single hair on them, right? Guys and girls, like everybody was as smooth as. So to me, it's like to me that's the part that felt awkward. It felt like they knew what they were doing. They're like, we're gonna show topless women, we're gonna show nudity, and we know we're gonna get like
and they're soldiers. They're soldiers on us like in the field, and yet somehow, as you said, their bodies are perfect.
Yeah.
And then one other sidebar from that. So I recently rewatched not rewatched, but the director's cut of Rebel Moon came out on Netflix, which I'm sure almost no one has watched.
To bring that up.
There is very, very uncomfortable nudity and sex scenes in like 2 of the movies, which is I want more people to watch those movies just so that can be laughed at more, because it is super awkward.
So I'm trying to. I'm like 20 minutes in, and there's already been like 3 different like either nudity or sex scenes in the first one. So Carson's not lying.
Yeah, there's like the witches early on that they were doing some weird
Yeah.
stuff
Wow.
with.
Space
Carson,
witches.
you're really selling this. Awkward nudity. Great.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't
But
get
it
enough
just-
from
it just
Starship
seems like-
Troopers.
It just seems kind of like gratuitous in a weird way. It's like I'm not sure if I should be like turned on. Again,
Well,
me as a high school boy, like
We'll get to the third movie later, but just the nudity, the one nudity scene there made me laugh. And we'll bring it up.
Yeah.
With what the one character said.
Yeah.
That was
We'll discuss Slug after. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Damn it! You took the words out of my mouth. Anyway.
I didn't say anything.
okay. So I mean, I think we're pretty good on Starship Troopers 1. Everyone gets the idea. If you don't know what we're talking about, you've never seen the movie, just go watch it, because it, like we said, it still holds
by the
up.
way, spoilers.
Oh my god. Yeah, from 1997. But yeah, Starship Troopers 2 is a very hard left turn. There's like the satire becomes minimal. It becomes more of like a standard horror movie. And back when, like, I don't know, I was probably in high school at this time when I watched it, I was like, wow, I loved Starship Troopers. It was such an amazing action movie, because I still had no idea about the satire. I'm going to watch Starship Troopers 2 because apparently there's one, and I don't know why no one knew about it. And then I watched it, and I was like, this is why no one knew about it. Clearly extremely low budget, nothing to do with the first one. I'm curious to. I know Carson, I think, had some good things to say about it, but I'm curious to hear what your guys' experience was with the second one.
So yeah, definitely B movie. Like, felt kind of like almost as bad as an Asylum movie. Alex, like the stuff we had to watch. Yeah, the bad acting, writing, effects not great, uninteresting characters. And for me, the whole body horror, like Alien, you know what I mean? They're going for that whole like original Alien movies, body horror kind of stuff. I'm not a big horror guy, so I think this was a big part of the reason why I didn't like it a ton. I mean, overall, it's just not a great movie to begin with. But the whole genre change was not my big cup of tea. But what do you think, Alex?
Oh boy, yeah. This was. I mean, I'm going to contrast it to 1 and 3. I mean, like the things that it was very low budget, and the way the low budget manifested itself, one of the ways, was the location of the shoot. Right? It seemed like number 2 literally only happens inside one place. Like they present it as some kind of fortress or whatever, a dungeon, doesn't matter. But the whole movie happens there. Like I was dying for something a little like take me out of this same environment. It's almost felt like a Saw movie in a weird way. Like we're just in one warehouse.
Yeah. But for the whole horror, like the whole Alien style thing, that like Alien 1 was just pretty much just on the ship. Right, so I guess that's maybe, like, I'm just guessing here. I didn't like read
I think
this
it was
or anything,
more
but
budget related than style.
Yeah,
well,
I was gonna say
yes, but also I think it just kind of fit like what they were trying to do. Kind of was like, oh, what can we do with a low budget? Oh, we'll just do like this horror thing.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what the director was saying. Was like, I think the budget for the first Starship Troopers was 100 and some million, and then the budget for number 2 was 6 million. And so they're like, okay, we can't make an action movie with $6 million bucks. So like, what else can we do? And they're like, we can probably shoot a cheapo horror movie. So that's what they ended up doing.
Yeah, and that's like, it's very transparent. Like I actually give them credit for that, because they were like, we have this name, Starship Troopers. Like we can't do a big bug fight scene, so let's make everything dark. Let's take all the bugs out of it like 20 minutes in, and then it's just gonna be horror, like just people with minimal CGI and like people acting like they're scared or acting like they've got bugs possessing them, right? And then it's like a tiny bit of CGI sprinkled in here and there. They have some practical effects which are cheaper, which I actually prefer. Unless they're done really bad in some places that they are in this movie. But it's literally just like what Carson said. I didn't even know that was confirmed, but I was thinking, watching this movie, I was like, clearly they were like, okay, what can we do with what we got? And it's these 2 sets, and just like pretending, basically.
Yeah, so, it was not good. Go ahead, Carson.
When Paulo first mentioned this idea, and I had no idea what Starship Troopers 2 and 3 were going to be, and so I was like, I assumed, since I hadn't heard of them, that they were bad. But then I started to research them before I watched them, and I noticed that the director of number 2 was Phil Tippett. So Phil Tippett is a big name, like, stop motion animation guy in Hollywood. He did the Ed 99 in RoboCop. He did the aliens in the first Starship Troopers. He did the Rancor and the AT-ATs from Star Wars. He's done all this like fantastic visual stuff, all in stop motion. And he also did a movie a couple of years ago called Mad God, which is basically like, and I think he worked on this for like 20, 30 years. And it's like 90 minutes of the most grotesque stop motion, like claymation animation. The premise of the movie is basically, what if God hated humanity and just wanted to make them suffer? And so there's like a little claymation stop motion figure just walking through hell for like an hour and a half, and all this like weird, violent, gross stuff happens. Anyway, not everyone's cup of tea, but he's an interesting person. So I'm like, okay, here's a movie that you're going to do a weird horror movie. There's going to be something interesting. And the fact that I was expecting something, I think, set my expectations way too high. So on my first viewing, obviously I hated it, probably as much as you guys did. The second time I watched it, knowing how bad it was going to be, I think I found a couple things that I could enjoy here and there, but I definitely went into it with higher expectations that I should have because of Phil Tippett.
What are those things that you enjoyed here and there?
One thing that I want to mention, on our group chat, you guys said, first 15 minutes was terrible, it doesn't get any better. I said I disagree. You guys took that as saying, like, holy shit, this guy loves this movie. No. All I'm arguing
you're
is
right,
that...
I did take it that way.
There's, like, nothing interesting for the first 20 minutes, and there's, like,
yes,
one interesting thing in the remainder of the movie. So it's slightly better.
I agree. The first third of the movie is just them, like, running, all this time spent running, then they get to the tower, and then they're, like, fighting... Yeah, and bad acting, pointless dialogue, and then it starts to turn around once they release what's his name, Dax, from his little prison.
Well, so for me, like, the one or two interesting things are around. I think we should mention for our audience what these movies are about, because no one knows. But basically, a group of soldiers get stuck in like a fortress or a barracks or whatever, and then 3 people from outside come in, and you find out that there's actually aliens inside them as human beings, and they're trying to infect everyone so that they can eventually infect the general, who can bring it back to Earth, blah, blah, blah. And so the movie gets interesting once we start having the reveal that these aliens are inside the people. And there's the one scene where the technician guy is working he's trying to restore electricity to the place, and then like his fingers just start falling off, and it's just like later on, like all his limbs are falling off, and
His
then
arm falls off. Yeah.
yeah, and there's a
And it
shot
only
later
happens
on.
to him.
Yeah, there's a shot later in where one of the guys who's helping him like opens his what do you call it, like locker, and he's just like hanging on like a coat hook, and like that visually, I was like, I chuckled a little bit, and that was my one entertaining thing for the second half of the movie.
I'll say something. This is a nugget. So you mentioned the technician. So that's J.P. Mano, right? So J.P. Mano plays Peck, that technician, with the fingers falling off. And there's that one scene where they bring in, I forget, the blonde girl. And again, she's nude. So again, we have that awkward nudity. She's almost dead. And Peck, the character, J.P. Mano's, kind of does this creepy thing where he like looks over at her lying down, like all injured and like unconscious. And he's sort of like, I think he either like caresses her or he like, he looks at her really weird, like, oh yeah, you're lying here on this gurney all naked and stuff, right? Interesting, because I don't know if you guys know this, you can Google it, but JP Mano was filming in Toronto like a few years ago, like 5-6 years ago. He was filming a big show called Spun Out for CBC, and this made the news everywhere. He was busted for having an Airbnb with hidden cameras on girls. So he actually turned himself in to the police station in Liberty Village, where some of us have worked before. So,
How did you know this?
Yeah.
So I'll discuss offline about the different ways that I'm connected to this story.
Okay.
Like as a savior, as you know, like but I'm saying like no, he was like the way it was is I knew somebody that was on that show, so I knew somebody that was filming with him on Spun Out, and this made the news. Like CBC had to announce a cancellation, right? They canceled the filming because this came out.
Wow.
He owned a couple of apartments in Toronto. He had hidden cameras in like the wall clocks, and he said it was for security reasons. The girl sued him, and he ended up turning himself in to that police station there, right? So it was sad because the show was doing well, and like once that came out, and this is like height as well, like right in the midst of like Me Too movement as well. Like this guy had no chance, right? But I'm just saying it was funny that even back then when he filmed this thing, he's still being a creep, right? And he's like perving on girls. So anyways, it was hopefully he's cleaned up his act. JP Mano, if you're listening. But yeah, that was something. I was not expecting to see him there because otherwise I don't really recognize any of the actors.
So Alex, when you watched this and you saw him there, you're just like, holy shit, it's him.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And he just gets to play the creepy guy that they said
The stuttering creepy guy.
Yeah. Which so there's this. He's an American, but he did live in Toronto and film in Toronto, so it kind of like it does connect a little bit with us, right?
But by the way, the actress was not yet naked on that scene. She was still in clothes when she was passed out.
Okay.
Yeah.
She only got naked later when she tried to like get with
And
him.
then she's naked the entire time
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
But it did feel like, again, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but there was that. What was that line of like softcore movies they were playing after midnight on like cable TV? It was called like Blue Ocean or something like that, or like Blue.
Now
Pacific.
I really don't know what you're talking.
Yeah, it was so it would have been on like like growing up like in the late '90s, we would have been channels, whatever, ABC, NBC, but even HBO. But after a certain point, they would start showing like almost like softcore, like there would be nudity, topless,
That's
things like that.
TNT and Spike TV today or whatever they are.
Yeah, sort of like that. So I felt this movie was gonna like, is this where we're going? Like, am I watching like a weird like adult feature here? Like, I don't know.
Softcore movie.
Yeah, it had this like, I don't know, it had this grimy sort of
sleazy feel at
yeah,
times.
very sleazy. Yeah.
And
yeah,
the thing,
yeah,
like, and I think we'll talk about this when we get to number 3, but like the nudity in 1 and 3, it's out there, but it's not sleazy. Like I felt like in number 2, it was they were trying to appeal to you, which made it.
Yeah. But my boy Dax, he turned her down. He stood firm.
Yeah.
Made her do
Well,
200 push-ups instead of.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
I thought it was funny. Like speaking of that specifically that scene, like she tries to seduce the hero guy, and then he makes her do push-ups, and then cut to immediately, like the very next scene, she's already naked in someone's room. Like, I don't know how she had the time to go from like the push-ups and then she's inside again, like naked and wet, like trying to seduce another guy. But
Also on that same scene, Paulo, as she approaches him to seduce him, he's shaving his beard. He's preparing to shave his beard. So he's putting like lathering the lotion and getting it ready. He never ends up shaving the beard. So
yeah,
I don't know what
he wipes it off. I remember thinking to myself,
oh, well, she interrupted
what?
him, I guess.
Yeah, but like
he didn't feel like shaving anymore after that.
By the way, I don't know how much you guys read into this movie or not, but Dax was actually originally supposed to be a character from Starship Troopers 1, which I think is the drill sergeant, whose name is Dix or something like that.
Dix is from 3.
Dix is in the third one, yeah.
Anyway,
Dix and Dax.
Yeah.
One of the guys in the first movie, I think it was in the training.
Zim,
that's it.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be him, and then for whatever reason, the actor had a conflict and he couldn't show up, so they ended up like just changing the character up a little bit and changing the name. But then that's why they also brought in the badass female who's in this movie
lady.
because she's also an actress in the first movie as a pilot who dies. And this is supposed to be her twin sister, but they just
wait a
crammed
minute.
her in.
You're still talking about 2, right?
Yeah,
So
in Starship Troopers
you mean
2,
the sergeant, the tough sergeant?
Yeah.
I don't know if she was a sergeant, but the
She's
older
the tough
lady.
sergeant lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her twin, it's supposed to be she's the twin sister of the actress who was with, yeah. But they never
Really?
explained it.
The ship
Okay.
the ship that Denise Richards is on that gets like hit with the bug stuff.
The
and then she
blue,
gets
the blue
crushed.
shit.
Yeah. And then she gets crushed by the door. That's the same lady.
Oh, it's the same actress.
It's
Okay, I never
Brenda
made that
Strong.
connection.
Yeah, Brenda
Yes.
Strong. So she plays Dee Dee Rake in 2, and she plays Captain Deladier in 1.
Yes.
Oh, she's
So
the
they're
captain
twin
who gets
sisters,
killed.
but they have
Oh.
different names.
Twin sisters with different names. It happens. It does happen.
Maybe they
It's
were
the
separated
future, guys.
birth.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
We're all clones anyways, right? It's like
But
yeah. I guess they felt obligated to have some type of continuity to the first movie because otherwise there is absolutely none.
well, Clancy Brown, who's the Sergeant Zim guy from number 1, he probably signed on, and then he drove past the set of number 2, and he's like, "Fuck this shit," and then
This
he
is
just
cardboard
left.
boxes painted.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, like the cardboard boxes, like the cover, like the I don't know, like walls outside of the fortress were like
Yeah, those
perfect
like
like
those
rectangles.
those little concrete wall chunks that they're
Yeah.
hiding behind.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, why are they taking cover? The bugs don't have guns. What are you doing? Like you're just blocking your line of fire. Like
Well, in 3 they do apparently. The bugs shoot back, but we'll get to that.
anyway, yeah, we'll get to that.
But yeah, number 2, just very cheap in more ways than one. There's also like, I don't know why I made note of this, but the psychic guy in who starts off as like a real asshole,
And then magically just doesn't stops being an asshole.
yeah, but his pistol is just a painted paintball gun, and I know this because I have that same paintball
Oh
gun.
my
What?
god.
I remember thinking
Yeah.
to myself,
Oh my
his
God.
gun looks actually pretty cool.
They
like-
didn't modify it at all.
Oh,
They just painted it.
Can we actually, sorry guys, on this note of the gun, this is true for all 3 movies. It bugs me, no pun intended, to no end that it takes so many bullets to do any damage to the bug.
Take down a bug.
Like it's so
Until it
frustrating.
Yeah, and
It's so
exactly. Until
frustrating.
it doesn't. Until there's a horde, and then there's suddenly
Yep.
just mowing them down. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So I
there's
have
one
problems
bug.
with
One bug is a big challenge. But when there's 50, then it's easy.
It's like how much ammo can the gun hold? Number 1, and number 2, like fix the bullets, make better bullets, use hollow points, use incendiary rounds, do something, right? Like it's so frustrating how they're just like shooting, and I think it's like somebody needs to revisit all 3 movies and make the shooting scenes like shorter, such that like one bullet kills the alien. I bet you the
Or
movie's
maybe
gonna shave off
just
like like 30 minutes.
Maybe like a few bullets, maybe not just one. But Neil
just a
Patrick
few
Harris,
bullets,
Neil Patrick Harris in one says, "Aim for the nerve stem" or something like that. Remember that?
Yeah,
So nobody listened. Nobody listened.
But I think that's part of the satire from the first one, and maybe they just carried it on in 2 and 3 without knowing. But like that image of a soldier just picking up a gun and going like ah, and just shooting everywhere and not really accomplishing anything. Like I think they wanted that image in there.
See, like now I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about this. I never even thought about it from that angle, man. So now it's like you're
don't
blowing
give
my
number
mind.
2 that much credit.
Yeah.
They didn't think of that either.
We'll give Carson the credit.
Yeah.
One thing that like number 2 could have been better a lot of different ways, but one thing that I think would have made it immediately better is they needed more interesting kills. Like at a certain point in the movie, you're getting to a point where they're picking off the regular humans one by one, and there's no interesting kills. Like the most interesting one is the one where that naked lady, she's behind the door and she's making out with the guy, and people are like, oh, they're making out, but she's secretly killing him. And I'm like, okay, it's something, which is, saying a lot for this movie.
That's the least bad one.
That's the least bad one. And then the other ones are just like, oh, we're going to close the door and just throw a bug in the room with you. And it's like they needed just something a little more interesting.
Yeah, I would argue that one was a little more interesting because the bug that they threw in the room was like the sleazy technician guy, and like they ripped his head off.
That part
and then
was
there were
fun,
bugs inside. That was like kind of cool.
It's like releasing the bugs out of the shell.
Yeah, like they open the door and he's like, "Hey guys," and then
oh yeah, that's right. He's like, "Hey guys," and then he's like,
it's probably like, yeah, that was not even him acting, just what he was really like in real life. But yeah, I mean, and then the only other like cool quote unquote kill that came to mind is the perpetually naked lady when they finally like set her on fire.
And then she's like burning in a room for a while.
Yeah, and she's like cursing them out like at the window. I mean, those are like some of the good effects that I was talking about earlier, which is like maybe the one saving grace of the movie for me.
And so I had mentioned earlier that directed by Phil Tippett, who does great animatronics, he did no visual effects for this movie. So someone who is phenomenal at this stuff, who is short on budget, decided to not contribute himself.
So he just directed. That's it.
Either that, or he did, and he was so embarrassed that he decided not to credit himself.
I don't want to sabotage my career with this. More than it already is. Yeah.
I mean, it's believable because he didn't come back for number 3.
He didn't, and he ended up coming back for the new Star Wars movies, so he still has a successful career.
Mm-hmm. He got out at the right time and came back. Well, I don't know. We'll see how everyone feels about number 3. But does anyone? Oh, I have one other quick note about number 2, but I don't know if anyone else had anything burning that they wanted to add.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this before. And Paul, hold that thought. Like, honestly, like everything was awful. Like number 2 was painful, right? Like I had to watch it in parts. It was like 15 minutes, pause on my phone to like detox for half an hour on social media, then back to the thing, right? But I did feel like the concept was kind of cool with that, the bug mind control. I thought they could have done more with that. Like it could have been more of like a suspense. It could have been even creepier and more suspenseful. I don't know. I think it was a bit
thriller,
of a missed opportunity.
Like more of a thriller type thing.
Because like, by the way, I know I'm the only one on this podcast that hasn't seen The Last of Us, but like that fungus, right? The cordyceps, where it takes over your brain and it can like direct ants and stuff to do, or insects to do as whatever, to do something. So I think it could have been like creepier in a good way. This number 2, I think it could have been, but it's sort of just, it stayed campy throughout. It stayed like cheesy and like corny and whatever. But I did actually think for a second, I'm like, you know what, that's kind of cool. Like the bugs have taken over and these people are acting in a certain way and they're not possessed.
It was slightly less boring once they started revealing the parasites and spreading them. Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have to say. Paul.
Sorry, I thought Carson had wanted to jump in there, but
the only thing I was going to say is, so at the end of this, we're going to talk about what our, a good spin-off or a good sequel of Starship Troopers is. The concept of this movie is a great idea, And if somebody who knew how to make a movie did it well, huge potential. It's just a very poorly made movie is all.
Yeah.
Like, I think the idea itself, there's nothing wrong with the idea.
Which, okay, now I feel like I might be being way too nice here, but that has to do in large part with the budget, right? Like, it's very clear how much they had to cut corners here, and I mean, again, considering the effects, they did okay with those. And the the last thing that I just wanted to demonstrate how much they were struggling with the budget was like the one recognizable actor, at least to me, I don't know about to you guys, but was the Asian guy that died in like the first 5 minutes, but he's like he's in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. But like, and he's not even like famous, but they couldn't even afford him for for more than 5% of the movie.
So brutal. Yeah.
But yeah. So I guess, okay, that brings us to Starship Troopers 3, Marauder. And Marauder has nothing to do with the movie. I don't know why it's called that.
Oh, it does.
The robots at the end are the Marauder unit.
I mean,
the Mecha Warriors.
so
Those robots are actually in the book, and they were supposed to be in Starship Troopers 1, the story, and that was one of the things people were upset about like the fans, the hardcore fans who knew about the IP prior to the movie, is that it wasn't put into it.
So actually, the one thing about that is, and I know we weren't supposed to watch like any of the animated stuff, but I saw one of the animated movies a long time ago, and those Marauders, I guess, are big parts of that. So I guess, and it's also, those were also created by Edward Neumeier, who's the director and writer of this. Yeah, director and writer of 3. I think the writer of 2.
He wrote
all 3.
1 and 2. Yeah, he wrote all 3.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I guess he like goes back to like revisit or like bring back those robot suits in the animated series, which is a lot easier to do when it's not live action, I guess, and you have a small budget. But like even the ending, like of number 3, it turns into like animated, like it's just clearly animated. They don't even try with CGI anymore.
Yep, it's right.
But it's a good segue, I guess, into the animated series. But I'll rewind it back because I've gotten too far ahead of ourselves. Like Dan or Carson, did you want to kind of just give a rundown of what number 3 is all about? Since again, probably no one aside from us 4 has watched this movie.
So I've watched this twice, and I'm still going to have a hard time explaining what the plot of this is. There's basically 3 acts. There's basically 3 acts. The first one is we go out to some random planet that the war is on with bugs and human farmers, and we meet back up with Johnny Rico, who's our star of the first movie, and he's taking care of a base there, and the Sky Marshal, who is like basically the president of Earth at this point, has come on a visit, and there turns out to be a big invasion. Like bugs take over the fort, like take over the place. Big action scene on that, and Johnny Rico ends up getting the blame for that. Cut to Act 2. There's all this political development, like I just want to say political nonsense, but basically Johnny Rico is being blamed for it. He's supposed to get hanged. His friend decides to let him off and then says, hey, you got to go on a secret mission to find the Sky Marshal, who, as he was escaping from the first battle, gets lost on some planet. And then the third act is cut to the lost planet that the Sky Marshal and crew are on, and it turns out that they're on a bug planet where half the planet is a bug, and it's like the god of the bugs, basically, and the Sky Marshal has been
the god bug
communicating with the brain bug from the first movie. He's like been hypnotized or something by it, and Johnny Rico has to go kill the Sky Marshal and the bugs and everything else to prevent the bugs from learning all the secrets that the Sky Marshal has, etc., etc. So very convoluted plot, but it's actually much more about what's going on in Starship Troopers than because as we said, Starship Troopers 2 is, there's no plot. It's just, hey, here's something that happens at one fortress. Starship Troopers 3 much more develops the world and the politics involved, like who's in charge on Earthside, what are the bugs, what does the fight look like, so it develops it that much
plot
more.
Twists and nuance, or more of it anyway.
It's also a very low budget and not very well made movie. So even though there's a lot more plot and ideas going on, it is a similar quality
Carson.
of dialogue and acting as you have in number 2.
Carson, did your research reveal or whoever mentioned that number 2 only had a budget of $6 million? Does anybody know the budget of 3?
$9 million.
Okay.
Which is surprising.
50% more.
Because it's only a little bit more, but they obviously get a lot more out of it.
But you know why, right? So the reason is they filmed it it was shot in South Africa. So number 3 was shot all in South Africa, which is again like I actually like Starship Troopers 3 for all the different sceneries, like the whole when they crash land on that last.
They actually
planet.
Go to places. Yeah.
They actually go to places. They're like in the desert. There's like it's like really cool things to see. And then later when I watched the credits until the very end, and they're like shot and filmed and produced by in South Africa. And at the very beginning, they do say like Africa Vision, like produced it or something or helped, but I didn't clue in that that's where it was shot. So I think that attitude, like the scenery being a bit more interesting and colorful than, I mean, number 2 was like eating prison food, right? And then number 3 is more like, okay, we have some sort of a meal here, you know?
But even that, like they had some decent effects. Like they had different types of aliens. They had like the little bombs that would come in and like roll on the ground and explode. And
they had the scorpion.
Yeah, the scorpion,
giant
the brain
scorpion
bug
thing
shows up at one point. You have this like god bug that's half planet. So it's like they what budget they had, they spent on aliens and bugs instead of locations, because the locations are pretty bare bones. But again, like it works. It's better for the story that way.
Did you guys think that the aliens in number 3, in my opinion, they were the worst moving? Like it was the worst CGI move. The aliens look so weird moving, right? Like it was like it's almost like their graphic card was like lagging, like the CPU was like overclocked, and they ran out of RAM or something. Like it was just like weird, man. They were glitchy. So I don't know if that took me out for it.
Yeah, they didn't have that much more of a budget.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I'll give them credit for this one as well. I mean, I only liked number 3 marginally more than number 2, but like they did quite well with the budget that they had. Like going back, like I won't deny that the bugs look terrible. Like all of the CGI is pretty bad. So, some of the like practical effects are okay, but like I feel like they really they had nothing left from that budget. Like I think they really went all out. So I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah.
Also with the cast. Sorry. No, that's all I was going to add to that.
Oh no, what were we going to say about the cast?
No, like they used every last cent of that budget because
I see.
These are not particularly like really well-known actors, but like there's one, the main lady is from like one of the Star Treks. One of the Star Treks that probably didn't last very long. There's the general who's like friends with Johnny Rico. Until they're not friends, and then they're friends again.
And then they're friends again.
Yeah, General Dix. He's in like Resident Evil, I think, one of the Resident Evil movies.
The one thing I was shocked at was the Sky Marshal, who is absolutely hamming it up for the entire movie. Like, he seems like he's just got a great face if you need a psycho in your movie, like somebody who's just weird. And I was surprised that he hadn't done more things, although I see he's done like a lot of voice for video games, like he did Baldur's Gate 3 recently.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know. Like you can Google what character it is. It was nonsense to me. But I just felt like
small things.
Yeah, I was like, this guy should be in more things. Like he killed it in that role for what you needed.
I really did enjoy him, like, cause he's like singing.
The singing like, Sky Marshal is what I wrote in my notes.
He's President Zelensky of Starship Troopers.
Although his,
I don't know. That's putting Zelensky down a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, obviously, yes, but fine. Let's strike that from the record.
One thing that was really weird, though, is his character's name is Omar Anoke, which is like a very African name. And so I was looking into that, and I was like, okay, was this character in the book, and they just for some reason cast a white guy instead? But this is not like that's not an existing character.
Maybe it was after General Omar Bradley, who was a famous general in the Second World War, U.S. general. So maybe that's where they got the name from. I don't know. But anyway, you know what, guys? I think So I realized when I watched this, when I was like halfway through, I'm like, you know what? The reason why I like this better than 3 better than 2, is that this one makes me want to play Helldivers again. 2 didn't make me want to play Helldivers 2 again, but number 3 kind of did. So yeah, I found it, especially the first half of 3. I don't know about you guys, but I found the second half, like the second half was a lot of them like running, a lot of that running around on the planet, and just one by one their little group gets killed off, that kind of shit. But the first half was like where you saw most of Rico, because Rico disappears for like a good chunk of the movie in the second half, and all of a sudden he reappears with the mechs. maybe not, because I'm like, where the hell's Rico? Anyway, in the first half, that's when he first gets introduced. It's that ridiculous bar fight where Dix is getting the crap beaten out of him by that guy, and Dix is like, he's getting thrown around the bar, and he's citing like section violations, like section 11. He's like flying into the table.
Well, there's so many layers to that too, because like he's old friends with Rico, but so is his new girlfriend, who's Star Trek lady, and then he gets immediately jealous of Rico because they had like a fling. So like he gets into that fight. I mean, he's like already volatile because of that, and then other like Federation
what's
stuff.
What's up with this guy?
Yeah, but then he goes like full overboard, like he like charges Rico for like a crime.
Yeah, he arrests Rico, and I'm thinking to myself, dude, Rico stopped you from shooting some farmer. Like, what the hell?
And he sentences him to death. Like
that was hanged. Like the word, like that was the word cuck before it existed, because that was in 2008, Starship Troopers 3, and now that you talk, he gets cucked in that scene, right? Because he's like.
Immediately,
he feels, even though he's like a head taller than Rico, he feels intimidated about like his girl and like Rico's
stature, and
When he gets beat up, he comes off just as this like nerdy like weakling, and then he overcompensates and wants to hang everybody. And it's like,
you know what, Paulo, he was pushing too many pencils.
Exactly.
It's a great reference from a completely unrelated movie. But
guys, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, just to support your point, they made it very clear that he was like a weak, nerdy guy because he was wearing glasses, obviously. Mm-hmm. That's like as far as they've thought out the characters in 3.
I'm just looking at the lyrics of I love that song. So the Sky Marshal.
I loved it too.
It's a good day to die. Okay, yeah. So I finished watching 3, and then I came back up here where I am in the office, and my partner, she works next to me. Her station's right there, right? And she wasn't on a call, and I'm like, babe, I'm gonna sing you a song, and I just and I'm like tone deaf, like I'm a drummer, right? So I don't know anything about melody, so I just start singing like, it's a good day to die when you know the reasons why. Citizens, we fight for what is right.
Oh, amazing!
A noble sacrifice. When duty calls, you pay the price. For the Federation, I'll give my life. Right? And so I gave her no context. I literally just started singing out of nowhere. And she's like, is that like a military recruitment song? I'm like, yeah.
It is.
It actually is.
It is.
It actually is. It's
you
really
can buy
good.
the album.
Yeah. Support the Federation.
Yeah, posthumously buy his album.
Yeah.
And it's like also part of what's that like
the closing song.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That too. But it's also part of like you can buy things on TV. You like those those shows on a long time ago. I don't think they have them anymore. But it's also they were doing that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then like support the war effort because it's a good day to buy.
Yeah. And that's right. It's a good day to buy.
Yeah. Would you like to learn more?
Yeah, but that stuff in number 3 was great. Like just the fact that he was really committed to the role. Like he went all. It's like he sat in a room, like an empty room for like a month before like acting, and just pumped Starship Troopers 1 like
into the psyche.
Yeah,
got himself into
acting.
It.
Yeah. He was like Starship Troopers 1 times 10. Mm-hmm. But I think earlier Carson was talking about, so you divided it into like 3 different acts. Should we jump into the third? Because the second one isn't really anything.
It's
Like,
a bunch of like mumbo jumbo, like politics. Weird. Like that doesn't really nobody cares.
Politics. But the most entertaining part of like I guess that second act was oh my god, was on the ship before it went down when Captain Lola is like chumming it up with her crew. Remember that? And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, she is the most sleazy, flirtatious captain ever. Remember that? How she's like, hey.
I don't
And she's
remember
like,
this
just,
at all.
oh, it's
Well,
so bizarre.
I took that in a different way. I thought like
It's
for
just
some
before
reason,
the ship got shot down.
Yeah,
Carson. It's
yeah,
like when
she's
she's
like-
walking around and
No,
Yeah.
I
saying
get
hi
that,
to
but
people.
I probably found it the same way that Paula did. So go ahead.
oh yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think she was being like sleazy. I thought it was trying to demonstrate like her crew didn't, or some of her crew didn't respect her or didn't like her.
Yeah, but that's because she's like encouraging the behavior. Like she was so unprofessional with her own people. Like it was just I don't know. That's how I saw it. Anyway.
I don't know. Okay. Speaking of ships going down and Starship, because in number 2 there's no ships. They never even show you.
It's
the
just
space,
troopers.
right? Just troopers in the fortress. But in 1 and 3, I don't know if you guys notice this. Every time a ship gets hit, it starts heading downwards. It's like a plane crashing, but we're in outer space with no gravity. I died. I want someone like, what's his name, Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know how he reviewed like Gravity, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, this doesn't make sense. The Earth doesn't spin this way. She would never float like that, right? Like, I need someone like that. I need somebody with a PhD at like NASA to just review for shits and giggles. We should have invited them as a guest on the show and be like, tell us everything that's wrong, because they get shot and the ship somehow tilts downward and starts heading down like in outer space. Like, okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, no, the NASA on-set advisors were not part of the $9 million budget, apparently. But we can definitely ask them. We're very well connected with NASA on this podcast.
Good.
By the way,
good.
one thing I forgot to mention about number 2 is there's a certain point where they speak with a pilot who's on a ship, and I think I read somewhere that's supposed to be Denise Richards' character that they're talking to, even though it's not Denise Richards doing the voice.
No way. That's ridiculous. Where did you see that?
Starship lore.
Yeah. It's
I'll-
all interconnected.
I'll double check that, but I think that's what I read somewhere.
Okay.
By the way, I just realized that. Cecile Breccia, who plays Lieutenant Link Mannion in number 3. I think she's the religious. No, she's not the religious one. Sorry,
Not that one.
she is, but she's married to Jason Clarke. So okay, that's kind of cool.
Jason
like-
Clarke?
Yeah, like from
Jason
like
Clarke.
Terminator, Oppenheimer, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes,
Oh.
Zero Dark 30. I think British guy, right? No, Australian. Sorry.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the religious girl, and the like religion as like a whole theme of number 3, because they tried to cram so much into this movie. It was really weird because they still had like the fascism and I don't know, like media a little bit, like with the guy who's like such a celebrity sky marshal, and then they had the religion
And then the
stuff.
Admiral chick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they
then
had
there
the
was, like,
Admiral.
the struggle with the admiral chick. But like the religion thing really came on, like it was hinted like a little bit through the first 2 acts, but then the third one it comes on like really heavy, and it was just really it's just really funny to me because like I don't even know how to describe it. Like you don't see a lot of like, I'm not going to call this a mainstream movie, but there's not a lot of mainstream movies that are like, unless they're like specifically Christian movies where people are going to do like the sign of the cross and it's like focused on them, and then like they're praying in a circle like on the desert planet, and they make a huge deal about it, and I couldn't understand what the message was about, like the whole like them focusing so much on the religion part, because even at the end, sorry, what?
Sorry, you go ahead.
No, I'm gonna get like way far into the end of the movie, so like.
Well, I was going near the end movie, but there's the one shot where the Marauders are hitting the atmosphere, and it looks like a halo over his head, which is probably the funniest scene in the movie.
She's like, look.
Yeah. Because she's like praying, right? Like she's praying for salvation from the god bug.
They're saying the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was thinking to myself, are they how much are they making fun of religion? Like, are they making fun of it? I guess
Like, are
it's
they
kind
saying
of
it's
both.
good? Is it
Yeah,
bad?
yeah.
I think
I
they
guess
were trying
it's
to
both.
do it because they were trying to do the comedy piece with the peace protesters, where it was like peace is not
Right.
allowed in this society. So I think they were trying to equate like peace with religion of like, oh, wouldn't it be funny that this future society hates these peaceful things?
But then religion's ultimately allowed as long as you don't. It's not peaceful. Like as long as you don't advocate peace.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
then, yeah, like going into the end, I don't know why they just completely change and become super accepting of religion. Like the Star Trek lady, she crash lands on the planet and she's like super against it. She's like, stop praying. Like, it's like one of those after school specials made by a church. Like, you guys are not cool. Stop praying. You're
Yeah,
getting on
yeah.
my nerves. And then by the end, like they're saved and they're praying, like with the girl with the halo over her head. And then she gets back together with like
Dicks.
Colonel Dix, and she's like, "Oh, I got religion real bad. If we want to get married, we got to do it in a
It's
church."
got to be in a church.
And like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, and there's also like one of the funniest shots of the movie is like when the girl, like the girl who is religious from beginning to end, like she's saved, and then she's walking through the ship, and she has like a veil, like she's clearly dressed like the mother, like Mother Mary or something, for no reason. Like, there's no reason why she should be dressed like that. And then she becomes a pastor, like waving the Holy Bible.
Cult leader.
Yeah.
More like it at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you know what I don't know if you guys have seen this video, but it's probably a famous kind of meme viral video from, I think it was a NASCAR race where they had a pastor do the sermon right before, like a prayer, and he's literally saying like it's like Bobby from Talladega Nights, right? It's like, thank you for my hot wife,
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
Jesus for our Toyota engines, for our V8 Chevys, for our hot dog vendors, like it's literally like I think that's how I took it. I took it as like, there's a specific brand of American Christianity, right? Where it's like it's so intertwined, like with pop culture and kind of like, well, I mean, so like look at somebody like a Justin Bieber, right? Well, yeah, it would be like it's like Jesus #1, USA #1. Like that's how I took it, because the last scene of the movie, I think it's the last where they're kind of doing like a summary, and now we're back on Earth, and like everything's good.
The propaganda role.
The president has a cross here, right? Like the president is
like all their uniforms are white now, and then
exactly
there's like a cross.
with a cross. So that to me reminds me of like when when someone like a conservative comes to power, like if when we get like a religious president in the States or whatever happens, or anywhere in the world, then it's like there's this like, but it's not tied to spirituality as much as it's tied to like might and righteousness, and like we're #1.
Maybe
God is on our side.
I think
maybe that's the point they were trying to make. Yeah,
it becomes a little exactly that it becomes a little more clear at the very end, because then it just comes on heavy, and it's like, okay, God's on our side. He wants us to win. God hates the bugs, like flashing on the screen.
Exactly. Yeah.
When they're doing that whole summary thing that Alex was talking about. So like that makes a little more sense. But like everything before that is just like, okay, you're just talking about religion to set up this, because it's nonsensical up until that point.
They needed to set it up a little bit more in the first 2 acts, because it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, but they were completely like just like I said, cramming too much in. And the whole like God wants us to win. Just side note, it's funny because it reminded me of, has everyone seen We Were Soldiers? It's like a Mel Gibson movie, of course.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
Was it Vietnam? Vietnam War. But basically, there's a scene where every Mel Gibson movie has a scene where he's like praying, but he's praying like with one of his nervous sergeants, like before they ship out, and then it's supposed to be funny, and he's like, "Oh, please protect us, God," and like I know you're gonna be hearing prayers from our enemies, but ignore the prayers and let us blow them all to hell. So it's kind of like it's like the same thing, just it's I mean the same idea, but like a little more on the nose than whatever Starship Troopers 3 did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, religion was a part, but I like at the end of the day, I thought it was a cool little. It's good that they explored that theme. Like I actually didn't mind them exploring the theme of religion, because I think they did it kind of respectfully. Like it obviously could have been more respectful, and I'm not a terribly religious person, but I thought it was kind of like they didn't poke too much fun at it. It was just more like, yeah, save us.
Maybe it was a bit of a warning, perhaps, like hey, religion's not a bad thing, because like you said, they kind of showed it's like, oh, there's compassion, there's character. What is the one character? What was his name? He gets killed. He says he's gonna marry the religious girl.
Oh, the crew chief guy.
What?
They call him the crew chief. I forget his name.
Yeah. It started with a B or something. What do they call him?
Bull.
Bull. That's it. Yeah. So Bull, he mentions at one point like, oh, this is like humanity, like our compassion or something is humanity, referring to the religion side, or so there's definitely a positive stuff they show. So this is why I can't help but think that at the end, where religion is now being like wielded as like has been weaponized.
Propaganda.
Yeah, it's been weaponized for propaganda purposes. I think it's almost like that's the point they're trying to make, is like religion itself is not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a good thing, but hey, don't let it turn into that.
Yeah, which I mean I respect that. Like it's cool. It was like equal parts cool and funny to see, more so funny because of like how ham-fisted it was. But like I said, it was super clumsy with how it was done. So
execution not the greatest.
But I mean, like all the ideas, as much as they were like crammed in there clumsily, it made me. That's why I enjoyed 3 slightly more than number 2.
Yeah, and the plot twist, like how the Admiral was meant to be, they tried to set her up to fool you into thinking that she was the bad guy, but really it was the singing Sky Marshal, right? And she as like fascist as she is, she ends up being like the good guy.
Well, the good guy, because the
quote-unquote
good guy
good
in
guy.
these, are never really actually good.
Yes. Yeah.
Plus,
Now
Starship
tell us
Troopers
about the
3 had
nudity.
I was
About
just
the
going to lead
nudity.
into that too.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Tell us,
lead into
Carson.
it.
We want to hear about it.
Like we've alluded to this a couple times, but there's a very awkward nude scene. I don't know how much there is to say about it. For those that are listening and haven't watched it, basically at a certain point, Rico recruits his team of 6 people, and they're like, "You guys got to wear these big armor suits," and they're like. And I guess because it connects straight to your nervous system, you got to be totally nude. And so they all just strip down, and they walk awkwardly into this other room where strategic strategic scanners that block out to keep it from being like an X-rated movie. I don't know what to say more than that. It's just super awkward.
Well, I think someone earlier said that it fit a little bit more, like thematically, in number 3 than it did in number 2. I would actually disagree with that, because I think number 3, it felt like they got through 3/4 of the movie and they were like, wait, we haven't had any tits in this.
Oh crap, we gotta put some in.
Check. You're checking boxes. Yeah.
Tell these 7 people to take off all their clothes. Why? It doesn't matter. Take off your clothes. And then they do it because they have to be scanned to use the robot suits. And then in the second one, like, I mean, sure, she doesn't have to be naked, but she's seducing everyone and she's smoking hot. So like, okay, sure, she'll be. It just adds to her seduction powers just to be naked all the time. I get that. It's dumb, but I get it. Number 3, why? Like, you don't have to take off just get in the robot.
And also, when they're in the robots later and Rico comes out of it, he's wearing a suit.
Yeah. Well, we can't just have Rico like Casper Van Dien hanging dong.
It's also cold on that planet, right? So they don't really explain this, but it is kind of cold. It's chilly on that super secret bug planet. Okay, speaking of, have you guys looked at are there any bloopers? Are there any outtakes? Because okay, especially in number 3, right? Like I'm picturing the scene where they're getting the special, like the SEAL Team 6, right? They're going to get into the Marauders. And they're all lined up like, yes, sir. And Rico is just basically drilling them. He's like, 2 inches away from their face, like breathing in and saying like, are you ready to die? Like this super serious, like he's right in their face. I would have fucking burst out laughing, right? Because we know we're making a joke movie. Like we know, like none of us are like, we all have second jobs. Like this is not our main gig, right? And it's like, how does he, like I'm dying to see outtakes and bloopers. Like there must be people like breaking character all the time, like saying funny shit, right? I don't know if that's something we could like take offline or look at it, but like
If we can find the
it
DVD
for
copy.
49 cents at Walmart somewhere.
Yeah.
yeah,
The special features. Here are the
Yeah, yeah.
bloopers.
Yeah.
Okay, there's stuff
Um,
on YouTube. It says, okay, we got 12 minutes on YouTube.
Of
The
Like
making
behind the
bloopers
scenes.
that fast? Behind the scenes,
Yeah.
really?
Oh,
crap.
interesting. I'm definitely gonna watch that later. But yeah, they're all professionals, Alex. They
Okay.
like just like Sky Marshall and Oki, they were completely committed to the role. I mean, they were willing to
Method
strip.
acting. Yeah.
Yeah, they were willing to strip down
Mhm.
with no explanation. But I mean, it's funny you mentioned like Rico just like drilling all these people because and he's like someone said earlier, he's only in like what 50% of the movie, if that.
If that.
If that.
Yeah, I think that like
30%,
clearly again
maybe.
budget stuff, but they just brought him again to say the lines, like say the lines, like "Come on, you apes," that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It's like oh there you
Gotta
go.
live forever.
Yeah, there it is. That's
And you
that's
know, like when I was reading up on Casper Van Dien, right? Like that's the actor playing Rico. Like he comes from a legitimate military family. He's got a grandfather that served in World War II, like pilots. We're talking like Navy, U.S. Navy pilots. We're talking like some kind of officer in the Army. And he finished, I think, basic training, but like I don't know. He definitely took a sort of like a different turn in his career as far as his military family. But like to me, it actually gave a little bit more credibility to his like. I know it's satire, I know it's a joke, but like I imagine he knows how to handle a gun, handle a weapon. He knows like the military sort of how the brass works and the whole like back and forth banter and dynamics. So that sort of gave me a little bit of a thing.
well, he also doubled as the onset advisor.
The military
No,
advisor.
I'm just making that up. The
Imagine.
military advisor, yeah.
Apparently he is going to be in like Casper is going to be in a new Starship Troopers video game that they are totally
No way.
yeah they're totally obviously they're making this to capitalize on Helldivers 2 like the success because I heard about this like a few months ago that he's like. And apparently in the interview with, I forget who it was, like IGN or something, some video game publication, apparently he just kept going on about like, yeah, kill them all. Or like he went a bit too much because they were trying to, it was him and like one of the developers in the interview. And they were trying to like kind of ask him about a bit like about Helldivers 2 and hey, how has that influenced you guys? And Casper apparently couldn't help himself. He went a bit too far, like saying like, oh yeah, Helldivers 2, whatever about them. We're doing the real thing. Or I forget what it was, but it was apparently pretty ridiculous.
Honestly, that makes me like him more. Just the fact that he's just so into it. Like he knows, he knows his thing, and he sticks to it. It's like Bart in The Simpsons when he had that catchphrase, like I didn't do it or whatever. That's
a
Casper.
Yeah.
Casper in
Like
real life.
shorts.
No, no, it's like he goes on the Krusty the Clown show. Whatever, we're going too far.
Oh yeah. And, like he hates his life. He's like, I'm just gonna do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Casper's still like he's still with it. He's still down to play that character. He's going to be Johnny Rico forever. And I'm
Why not?
Good for him. Oh my god.
What I don't know what anyone had any final thoughts on Starship Troopers 3 before we start pitching our own Starship Troopers movie. One last thing. Yeah, I just remembered. I read. I don't remember where I read this, and I don't know if you guys. I wanted to ask you guys. I don't know if you caught or if you saw this at all, but apparently Starship Troopers 3 was supposed to be like mirroring the Vietnam War, while Starship Troopers 2 was supposed to be mirroring World War II. And I did not make that connection anywhere except for in 3 with the peace guy, like the wheelchair peace guy, like Lieutenant Dan. he's clearly a Vietnam vet, like type character. But other than that, I saw nothing, like no connection to that.
If anything, Starship Troopers 3 is more like the First World War with the trench warfare thing they allude to. Remember the spades?
Yeah.
Every soldier has a shovel. Yeah, it was more like that's more of a First World War thing, and also developing new weapons and stuff. There was more innovation going on in the First World War than the Second.
By the way,
with like brand new stuff. But.
By the way, building trenches against bugs is the dumbest strategy.
Let's all like get static and stuck in this trench so they can come in and just tear us apart. Yeah, Paulo, you and I know from playing Helldivers that you don't want to get stuck.
You got to keep moving.
You got to keep moving. You got to move backwards, side to side, right? Because they got to come to you. So you don't want to get yourself like stuck in a fucking hole.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's why the farm planet fell.
Yeah.
We should have been the Sky Marshals.
Mm-hmm. It's a good day to die. Yeah.
But yeah, like I couldn't think of any other connections to like either the Vietnam War or World War II. I don't know if you guys like saw that at all.
The peace demonstrations. I guess that has some. That's the only thing I can think of in terms of the Vietnam War thing.
Yeah. I guess we can all agree Starship Troopers 2 also had no underlying themes. So
no.
Very surface level. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess to wrap it up, I hope everyone has had some time, like while we've been ripping on these movies, to think of our own better one. For Starship Troopers 4, not counting the animated films. I'm at a loss. Like I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Carson wants to say something.
I have a half-baked idea here. So
okay,
let's hear it.
With all the anytime you do a sequel, you have to bring back an original character. So we have to pick one of the original team to come back, and I think the only one that you really want to have come back is Casper Van Dien. So you have a story where Rico is like a general, or he's training the next generation, and so you bring back the idea again. This is like a soft reboot, but you have a new group of 4 or 5 who are similar to the first group that went through in Starship Troopers 1, except this time Rico is the general, he's the teacher, he's kind of the old guard, that's the bringing the military mythology and everything that we had from Guy with the Arm Missing and Rashtrack in the first one. But Starship
Michael
Troopers
Ironside.
Michael Ironside. But in Starship Troopers is also a big satire franchise, and so what's something that you could satirize in today's society? How about all the diversity and inclusion stuff? So what if you had a society where Rico is the one trying to teach that, hey, it's right to be military, and you have these younger recruits being like, we need to be more accepting, we need to be peaceful, we need to and this is the way that we're going to win. And then the result of the movie is that every time they try to do something with diversity, they lose. And the right thing is to be military. Because
great.
That's what Starship Troopers is. It's kind of saying rah, rah, we need to be military and violent all the time, and that's the only way. So that's all my idea for now, but I think that's how you could make a movie.
Okay.
And then the Sky Marshal would be named like Sky Marshal Mickey Disney.
Yeah.
Mickey Iger.
Mickey. Yeah. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So my half-baked idea was Earth itself is threatened or attacked, and that maybe we could do combine the themes from Starship Troopers 2 and 3, so we could have it be the bugs are infiltrating people, and it's also an action-y kind of movie with some plot twisty stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And maybe maybe a budget of $12 million. So we bump it up by $3 million
Another
each time.
$3 million.
Yeah. That's right. And Casper reunites, or Rico reunites with Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh,
I want Neil Patrick Harris back. Oh, no, okay, maybe, sure, maybe we could do that. But no, I want NPH back, and I want him to have his pet ferret from the very beginning of the first movie back.
Well, I think NPH should be the villain.
Oh shit!
Yeah, kind of like Sky Marshal Inoki,
Kinda-
'cause he was
Yeah.
So he's
right?
corrupted.
Turn.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then he gets corrupted. I think I want to double down and triple down on like the whole religion theme of Starship
Mm.
Troopers 3. And then, like Dan said, you're combining it with the horror elements of Starship Troopers 2. So the only way to like get rid of the bugs that are like taking over people is to like have full-on exorcisms. And then somehow you'll have some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of satire in there, but that's my like
Shove in
quarter
some
baked idea.
satire.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna go
No,
like
it'll
okay.
be
So you
witch-
mentioned
oh, I got it.
diversity.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
go.
go
No. I already know
okay,
mine. Go ahead.
sorry. The only thing I was going to say is that's perfect because that gets back into that we can do like it's witch hunts. Like, right? So you mentioned Paula, you mentioned it's like there's exorcisms. So it's like an Inquisition kind of thing has taken over where it's like, oh shit, we don't know who to trust, like who's a Cylon and who's not. That's a Battlestar Galactica
Yes.
reference, right? So who's got the parasite in their head or not? So we got to like there's like witch hunts happening and like, killing people.
Yeah, and then it can be like real witch hunts because only women can get controlled by the bugs. So then you get some like sexism in there. Maybe we'll throw in some racism too, just to make it a little more like topical or like appropriate for modern times.
For modern times.
Yeah. So like only white people, straight white people, cannot be taken over by the bugs. This sounds really bad. The more I say, the more I talk. But it's
Here's a
satire.
shovel. Dig yourself out.
There you go.
No, well, this is satire.
Yeah,
I don't mean any of the things I'm saying. That's how I dig myself out.
Dig
of that
up, stupid.
hole. Yeah.
All right, Alex, what were you gonna say?
Well, we got to throw in. I love everything that I think we actually have something here. And the only one that I'm going to add, obviously the biggest thing is COVID, right? And this whole like government vaccine mandate things, right? So we're going to go with not only have the bugs infiltrated, but the bugs can now become nanobugs, right? So they're almost like invisible to the naked eye. They're airborne.
They're so small.
They're so small. They're airborne. They infiltrate us. So now we're going to get the government, the Federation, giving new quarantine laws, whatever, and then you're going to have battles actually happening between different factions of the military.
The truckers are going to take over
exactly.
The capital. Yeah.
And we're going to have one guy. Who's the guy with the bullhorns that stormed the Capitol in the States? You know what I'm talking about? Like for that Trump insurrection?
Oh.
The shaman. We have to make a reference to that. We have to make a reference to that, right? So they like send him front lines and he's just there like clobbering on arachnids or whatever. Like that'd be kind of cool.
Hopefully he gets mowed down.
So I actually think like if Starship Troopers 1 were to be done today, like doing something like that would have the exact same effect as original Starship Troopers. Is like, okay, is this actually satire or are these people like full on QAnon conspiracy nuts? And no one will know for like 20 years.
If you make a movie like this day, like you can't be as subtle as Starship Troopers anymore, because let's say that you're trying to satirize.
It's not subtle.
Yeah, like if you're trying to satirize the military and you do it well and you do it as subtle as Starship Troopers did, you're going to make a movie that people really get excited about for the wrong reasons, and they're gonna, like this, like in the way that people get like they really want to be like the Joker and be like, okay, you missed the point of the Joker.
What?
Yeah.
How many people want to be the Joker?
That was a whole thing. Like,
was it really?
Incels on the internet were like idolizing the Joker.
Go search "We Live in a Society" because.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't know about that. Okay.
But there's a lot of characters that I like that these days, where you would think people are doing it pretty obvious that you're not supposed to like a certain character. Where there's a bunch of people online that are like, this is the greatest character ever. I'm gonna be like
I feel
now.
That's got to be a tiny amount of people. That's just.
It's growing number, I think.
It's a loud tiny amount.
Right, but it's still a tiny amount.
I hope so.
It's like the modern audience, a loud tiny amount.
But anyway, if you do it these days, you got to do it like The Boys, where it's like super obvious how they feel about it.
Sure. Yeah.
Boys, yeah. Boys is good.
I mean, or we can stick to the original idea and no one will know if we were being serious or not until 20 years later.
Well,
By then we've all
that'll-
been like canceled and
that'll-
disgraced.
Yeah.
That'll give longevity to your film, because then they'll talk about it 20 years from
Mhm.
now. There you go. Like we are talking about Starship Troopers 1 right now.
Like,
That's-
I personally love the idea of a movie like that. I just wonder if there's a certain type of ethical responsibility you have as a filmmaker.
Oh, clearly not.
So guys, get this. Like I spoke with somebody who's somehow whatever connected to one of the studios in I think New York actually.
Is our
and
movie
this-
getting picked up already?
So I'll tell you exactly how it gets picked up. So here's what these screenwriters are doing now. So the screenwriter comes up with the overall plot, let's say, just basic, like get a couple of pages going on like what you're trying to do. You enter it into ChatGPT. Doesn't matter, any sort of generative AI. No, guys, I'm seriously.
No, I
He
believe you.
told me
Co-pilot.
that. So get this. After 5 days, the computer was working for 5 days. It spat out a 20 episode, I think, across like 2 or 3 seasons, with rich character development, like crazy. And this is coming from the screenwriter saying this is stuff that like I almost couldn't have written. Like it's impressive. So we take some of these ideas before we release this podcast, so somebody can feel it. So we keep it to ourselves. We run it through ChatGPT. I don't know which one of you has $20 a month to afford ChatGPT. And then and yeah, we just release this, man. We can even get it to animate.
Yeah,
like
the
parts of it, do
AI
a
wouldn't
pilot.
take 5. All right, so the hole in your story is that AI wouldn't take 5 days to spit something out. It would take
So-
like 5 seconds.
No. But this was like
They had to refine
20
it.
episodes. 20 episodes, everything.
I
like,
see.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I misunderstood. Okay,
yeah.
got it.
The whole project like took.
Yeah.
I
No,
see.
by the way, Alex, I would say don't worry about someone stealing the ideas. Like us recording and posting this is pretty much keeping it to ourselves.
It's copyright. I think it's copyright.
Oh, Paulo, you're putting yourself down.
No, actually, we have a very nice following. Thank you to all our listeners.
I would love to do that at a certain point to like try to make a movie script because I want to tell a story, but I have no ability to come up with names or write human dialogue or anything like that. And it's like, okay, I'll just
We
get
know.
AI to do that. Yeah.
AI, man. AI.
Can't write
Well,
human
you
dialogue.
need to- Carson isn't human. He just admitted it.
Yeah.
Hey, M. Night Shyamalan has no idea how people speak, and he makes lots of movies.
Shyamalan. Yeah. So, Carson, you just need to watch the show Extras. Remember? Haven't you seen Extras where what's it? Ricky Gervais.
Oh yeah.
You know, he like goes to Patrick Stewart and he gives him his script, and then that kind of starts things. That's just what you need to do. Sorry, the reference apparently fell on deaf ears.
I have indeed watched all episodes of that show, so I know what you're talking about.
It just made you silent. I get it.
Uh,
The Patrick Stewart episode. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Carson.
Yeah, the one where he
I
starts
saw it
being
all.
super pervy. Yeah.
I saw it all.
Without context, this sounds
Yeah.
very interesting. All right. Final thoughts before we wrap up our Starship Troopers episode. Anyway, any shout outs? Shout out to the creepy guy from Starship Troopers 2. He's still
Yep,
getting work
Peck.
apparently.
Yep.
Hope he goes back to jail. But yeah, thanks guys, Dan, Alex, for joining us. Carson, I'm sorry that it took so long. But this episode was 5 months in the making, and I think we did really good. So thanks for listening. And I'll see you next time on The Fan and the Critic. Bye.